line.
Hello guys, so welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how you
line
can
because
bulk upload data to your Fyne desktop application.
and then
So I have a very
upload
simple application
as the
here.
same.
I'm
You're
going
dealing
to
line by
run
line
it so that you can see how it looks like, and then we're going to add two main components. One, we're going to add a bulk upload button at this top here. We're going to add a button whereby you can going to upload your CSV data, and then at the bottom here we are going to use a table. So that's what you're going to do. So you can come here at the Find Docs, and then you can click on Docs. Since you're going to use a table, just going to come to the collection sections. You're going to click on Table here, and this is how you're supposed to add your table. So I'm just going to copy this data so that you can define data layout. And then in our case, I'm just going to get rid of some things here. I need these. That okay, you're going to need this. Strings, names. Okay. So in a case here, this is my example that I'm going to use. We have the name, we have the age, we have the maybe profession and location. So here I'm going to have, I can just call this name, then the second one is age, and then we have profession, and then finally we have location. So this is how our table is going to have, these are the column names. Then after copying that, I'm just going to copy this one here. To copy this, then I'm going to place it with the, I'm just going to add it here. Yes, I'm going to call it table. Then we're going to set the content. Of course, I need the content here. See the content. Of course, you're going to have the button at the top and the table at the bottom. And then the content, we're going to have a container dot new border. Now for the new border, as you can see, we're going to have top, bottom. So at the top, I need the button. Now we also need to define the button here, and just say upload button. Then I can just call it upload button. Of course, it's going to be a widget dot new button, and then I can just call it upload data. Then for the function, now I can just give it a null so that I'll add it later. Then at the top, I'm going to have the upload button, and then at the bottom, it's going to be nil, right nil, left nil, and then I'm going to add the table. Okay, so this is a layout of application. We can run it and then see how it looks like. Yeah, so that is how our table looks like. You can add the functionalities. So now to add a functionality, the functionality went to, we have to handle the data upload, of course, and in our case we are going to add it here. So now it is going to be func, then you're going to get a dialog. So the first thing you're supposed to do, you have to define the file dialog. Of course, going to say just dialog dot new file to allow us to upload upload our data, and then new file open. What do we need? We need a reader. Okay, so it's going to be a func of a reader, and then we are going to add some things. So first thing, we have to ensure that this error is not null. So of course, if error is not nil, we're going to show a dialog. Of course, it's going to be an error dialog, error, and then I'm just going to supply my window, and then we're going to say return. Then after confirming that it's not nil, it's okay, I need to add my window here. That error disappears. And then we also have to ensure that the reader, this reader is not null as well. We're going to say if reader is equal to nil, not null, nil. I mean, we have to ensure that it is not nil. And then after doing that, now we have to read the file. Read file line by line. Of course, in my case here, we're using CSV file. So we're just going to define our scanner. Then we're going to say new scanner, running our scanner for the reader. Then you're going to use this to scan through the uploaded file, and then we upload it. Of course, you're going to look through it for scanner.scan. We're scanning that file, and then we upload each, as you're saying, we're dealing line by line. Then the scanner.text, then the columns going to be strings.splits. Going to split the lines, but if they're in form of columns. Now the reason I'm using this, it's because in my data here I'm using the comma separated, because CSV files are comma separated, so that's why you're trying to split them. And then I have 4 columns, 1 2 3 4, so I have to ensure that the data has 4 columns. Of course, you can make it flexible, but in my case I'm just going to ensure that it is not less than 4. I have to ensure that for length less than 4, and then we're going to append them. To the calls. But after appending them, we have to ensure that there is a space between the columns, of course. And then after ensuring that we have 4 columns, we're just going to append our data as well. We're going to append our data. So we have to ensure that we are capturing the 4 columns, of course. Then after scanning through the file, and then we have to ensure that there is no error with the scanner, of course. Scanner.err. All this is to ensure that there's no error. Then if error is not equal to nil, we want to ensure that we are displaying it to the user of our application. And then we're going to do that, and then we're going to return. So basically we are defining our scanner, and then we are looping through our files. That is the data, that line by line. As I said, we're in one line, and then we're splitting it based on the commas, so that we can append it based on the columns. And then after doing that, we have to refresh our table so that it automatically recognizes the newly uploaded data. Now after doing all that, we're going to add show. We're going to show the dialog, of course, using this. And of course we can add filters. but let us test our application before we upload the filters, so that to ensure that once we load the data, we open the file dialog, we can only see CSV file or specific. So we can click on the upload button, and then we can come to desktop, come to Fyne. Then we have, this is our test data. Also open it, it should be uploaded. Yeah, so basically that's how we upload it. And then let's add a filter so that we can ensure that only CSV files are, so that we can make sure that the user only uploads is able to upload storage.new extension file filter. Then we're going to supply the list of strings. So I just want to allow the user to upload only CSV files. And then we can run the application, then ensure that it's working as we have told it to. Then we can open. As you can see now, we can only see the CSV file, so that user cannot upload any other data. Then once you upload on it, so this refresh, the moment you upload on it, it refreshes. So that's why, as you can see here, when you can look on our data, and then we want to ensure that it is uploaded. The first name is John Doe, age is 25, engineer, Nairobi, Jen Smith, and so on. So in the next video, we're going to add a pagination so that we can be able to view our data properly. So thank you guys, and see you in the next video.